Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to stand before you today to speak on a subject that affects every one of us, regardless of our background, age, or status. How to control your emotions. Emotions are what make us human. They enrich our experiences, shape our relationships, and influence our decisions. However, when left unchecked, emotions can also lead to turmoil, misunderstandings, and poor choices. Learning how to manage our emotions effectively is not just a skill, it's a necessity for a fulfilling and balanced life. Today, we will explore the nature of emotions, why controlling them is vital, common misconceptions about emotional control, and most importantly, practical strategies you can apply in your daily life. I invite you to journey with me through this important topic, and I hope by the end of this speech, you will walk away with a renewed understanding and effective tools to help you master your emotions. Understanding emotions to control something, we must first understand it. Emotions are complex psychological states that involve three key components: a subjective experience, a physiological response, and a behavioral or expressive response. They can be triggered by external events or internal thoughts, and can range from happiness and excitement to anger, fear, sadness, and everything in between. Each emotion serves a purpose. For instance, fear alerts us to danger, while joy reinforces behaviors that are beneficial. Even negative emotions have value. They are signals from our internal world trying to communicate something important. Therefore, emotional control is not about suppression or denial. It's about regulation, understanding, and appropriate expression. Why emotional control is important. Why is emotional control so vital? Because our emotions significantly influence our behavior, relationships, health, and success. Imagine making decisions based solely on anger or anxiety. The outcomes are often regrettable. Emotional outbursts can damage relationships, and chronic stress from poorly managed emotions can lead to health problems. Professionally, emotional intelligence, which includes emotional regulation, is a highly sought after trait. Leaders, team members, and entrepreneurs alike benefit immensely from the ability to remain calm, think clearly under pressure, and respond rather than react. In personal relationships, emotional control leads to empathy, understanding, and effective communication. In short, mastering your emotions is a cornerstone of personal growth, inner peace, and external harmony. Misconceptions about emotional control. Before we dive into how to control emotions, let's dispel some myths. Controlling emotions means never feeling them. Not true. Emotional control doesn't mean becoming a robot. It means acknowledging emotions without letting them dictate your actions. Emotions like anger or sadness are not inherently bad. They're messages that something needs attention. The issue arises only when we handle them in destructive ways. Emotional regulation is a skill, not a fixed trait. It can be learned and developed over time. Let's now talk about how to control your emotions in practical, effective ways. Self-awareness. The first step to emotional control is self-awareness. You must recognize your emotional state before you can change it. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What triggered this emotion? Journaling, mindfulness practices, and simply taking a pause when emotions rise. Pause and breathe when emotions run high. Taking a moment to breathe deeply can help interrupt the reactionary cycle. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms you down. Just a few slow breaths can give you the space you need to choose your response, rather than react impulsively. Cognitive reframing this involves changing the way you perceive a situation. For instance, instead of thinking, "This person is trying to ruin my day," consider, "Maybe they're having a tough day themselves." Reframing doesn't deny your feelings. It helps you see from a broader, more constructive perspective. Emotional journaling, writing down your thoughts and feelings, helps process emotions and identify patterns. Over time, journaling increases emotional clarity and insight. It's especially helpful when trying to make sense of recurring emotional triggers. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is the practice of being present without judgment. It helps you observe your emotions without becoming entangled in them. Regular meditation trains your brain to become more emotionally resilient, creating a buffer between stimulus and response. Physical activity, exercise, is a powerful emotional regulator. It releases endorphins, reduces stress hormones, and gives you a productive outlet for frustration and anxiety. Even a brisk walk can shift your emotional state. Talking to a trusted friend, mentor, or therapist can offer perspective and validation. Sometimes expressing your feelings is the healthiest way to release them. You don't have to manage emotions alone. Develop emotional vocabulary. Learning to label emotions more precisely helps you understand and communicate them better. Instead of just saying "I'm upset," identify if you're feeling disappointed, frustrated, anxious, or hurt. The more specific you are, the better you can address the root cause. Create a calm environment. Your surroundings impact your emotional state. A cluttered, chaotic environment can add to emotional stress. Design your space to be calming and orderly. Play music that soothes you. Light candles or use essential oils. Your external world can help stabilize your internal world. Set boundaries. Sometimes emotional turbulence comes from overcommitment or unhealthy relationships. Learning to say no, prioritizing your needs, and distancing yourself from toxic influences is not selfish. It's self-care. Real-life applications. Instead of yelling or shutting down, take a breath, acknowledge your anger, and express it calmly. "I'm feeling frustrated because I feel unheard." At work, before responding to a critical email, teaching emotional control to others. If you're a parent, teacher, manager, or leader, teaching emotional regulation can empower others. Model emotional control. Talk openly about feelings. Create safe spaces where emotions are accepted, not judged. Greater resilience. Enhanced leadership abilities. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you won't feel deeply. It means you'll feel with wisdom and act with intention. Conclusion. In closing, emotions are an essential part of being human. They guide us, enrich our lives, and connect us to one another. But like any powerful force, they need direction. Emotional control is not about suppression. It's about mastery. It's about recognizing, understanding, and channeling our emotions in ways. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress. And remember, every step you take toward controlling your emotions is a step toward a more fulfilling, empowered, and peaceful life. Thank you.